So far in 2024, I've reviewed phones that are gaming specific, and I have also reviewed a few phones that are camera specific. Then you also have your phones that are your flagship killers, and then you have some phones that are battery champions. But we really haven't reviewed any phones that are high performance and have a good camera at the same time. And that's where the ZTE Nubia Z60 Pro comes in. ZTE is known for primarily two things. This is the company that's known to bring the first under-display camera, and is also known for the RedMagic series, which is the gaming-centered phone. And this phone, apart from just being a high-performance phone and a camera-centered phone, is also the special edition phone, because the one that I have today is the Starry Night edition, which is inspired obviously by the famous artist Van Gogh. So let's go ahead and unbox this and see what we have. And just looking at the box, you can tell that you get some extra features. The regular version comes, I believe, in a black and a white color, and you get a different box. So this is a special limited edition box. You can see that we have Chinese over here, so I'm assuming this is the Chinese variant. The variant that we have today comes with 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of internal storage, but you get a lot of options. You get 8 gigs, you get 12 gigs, 16 gigs, and also you get an option for a 24 gig variant, and that's only limited for the 1 terabyte option. So if you go ahead and buy that, you can get this in 24 gigs of RAM as well. So let's look at here. So you can see that we have the Starry Night edition over here, and then we have the phone, which I'll show you guys in a little bit, but I want to see what else we get over here, because this is quite a chunky box. Surprisingly, we get 2 of everything here. So we get 2 chargers, which I don't really get why. I'm assuming that we have the original charger that comes with the whole Starry Night edition, and then we also get an extra charger, and we also get 2 USB-C cables, which is something that I'm seeing for the first time, but I'm assuming because we have 2 chargers, then you also get 2 USB-C cables. This is the regular charger that comes out of the box, and then we also have the fast charger over here, and I believe this is a 67 watt fast charger. But this charger is also not just any charger. You actually have 2 USB-C ports and 1 USB-A port, which means that you can charge more than one phone at a time if you want to, and that's very interesting to me. And then last but not least, we also have, I believe, is a case. Normally you get a clear case out of the box, but because this is the special edition, you get first of all the SIM pin over here, some paperwork, warranty information, and you also get the special edition case, which is a hard plastic case. And this is also again themed after the Starry Night painting. And immediately, if you look at the phone, you can tell that it is camera centered. So we have a triple camera setup over here, and I'll discuss that in a little bit. But I want to look at the design over here, which is a very beautiful looking phone. I mean, just by looking at it, it just immediately attracts you. And this is a full metal body with aluminum sides, and it also has a glass front. So you are getting that premium quality here with this phone. Looking at the top over here, we have an infrared sensor, we have a microphone, we have the volume rocker, we have the power button, which is a little bit textured, and this is a specific button for the camera system. So once you go ahead and click this or toggle this, it immediately takes you to the different modes that you have for the camera, and I'll go through those in a little bit when I talk about the camera. On the bottom we have the speaker grill, we have the USB-C port, and we also have the SIM tray, and we don't have a 3.5mm audio jack, which I thought this phone had, but no, we don't have it. Talking about the display, you get pretty much premium quality over here. We have an AMOLED display with 1 billion colors. It has 120 Hertz refresh rate. Unfortunately, it's not an LTPO display, but it does support HDR10 plus, and this goes up to 1500 nits of peak brightness, which is okay, but I think by today's standards, a lot of phones are now starting to hit even 3000 nits of brightness, or even more than that. So according to those standards, it seems a little bit low just on numbers, but it's actually not low by any means. It's actually more than enough. It is a 6.8-inch display on the front, and this also has IP68 dust and water resistance. And being such a high performance and a camera-oriented phone with a bunch of buttons, I didn't actually expect this to have any sort of water or dust resistance here, but we have IP68, which means that you can dunk it in water for about 30 minutes without having any issues or problems whatsoever. So you are protected there as well. Another thing that I like is that the display is pretty much very symmetrical. So the bezels are pretty thin, and then you also get a fully symmetrical body because this has a flat display and it also is a square display, very much like the S24 Ultra this time. And if you guys have noted, one thing is that you don't really see a punch hole camera or any cutting for the camera system, and that's because this also comes with the under display camera, which is a specialty that ZTE deals with, and it's the same situation over here. And they actually do a pretty good job about it. If you tilt the phone in a specific angle, you can kind of tell that there's a camera there, but apart from that, just looking at it from far away, it's really impossible to tell that you have a camera under there. But one of the things that you compromise when having an under display camera is the quality. And even though this has a 16 megapixel camera, which is for the Chinese version, this also comes with a 12 megapixel camera for the global version. But the Chinese version has a 16 megapixel camera, which should be pretty good. But I took some sample photos and I really didn't like the quality. At least when it's previewing the picture, it looks like it's a very blurry display, and I tried to wipe the display. I was thinking that maybe there was a smudge on it, but it's just the quality of the camera that you have to compromise when taking photography. And this is a sample that I took, if you guys can see over here, and you can see that it's kind of blurry and it's not really as refined as you would like it to be. And again, that's just because of the technology that's being used. And similar technology is also used on folding phones. So the Z Fold 5 also has the same technology. And a lot of people also criticize the phone for not having a good front camera. And that's, I believe, still has a 4 megapixel camera, which is honestly just crap at this moment or at this time. If we talk about performance, then this also hits pretty high numbers. We ran Antutu and this gave us 2.1 million points, which is actually more than the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, which I reviewed yesterday, which had about 1.9 million points. And this is flagship level performance because this comes with Snapdragon's 8 Gen 3 chip as well. So you are getting the best of the best. And then this also comes pre-packed with 16 gigs of RAM. So you can expect a high performance out of this. And even though this is not really a game specific phone, but Nubia or ZTE knows how to make good performing phones because they are the makers of RedMagic, so they know how to put in a good performance when it comes to that. Now the camera is where things get a little bit interesting because the ZTE Z60 Ultra comes with a physical 35mm lens, and that's something that photographers, especially people that like to do old school photography, really respect. Nowadays, you get, I think, between 23 and 24 millimeters as a focal length, and 35 millimeters has a narrow field of view as well as compared to the others. So you are getting naturally that bokeh effect. The main camera will have a 50 megapixel 35 millimeter standard lens, which has laser autofocus and optical image stabilization. We also have a 64 megapixel camera, which is an 85 millimeter lens, which is also a periscope telephoto lens. Also comes with optical image stabilization and 3.3 times optical zoom. And then the other 50 megapixel camera, which is the ultra wide, comes with 18 millimeters, and this has 100 degrees field of views. And I'm going to show you guys some of the features that come in the camera app. So one of the things that you can do is trigger it with this button. So as soon as you go ahead and do that, it takes you to a bunch of settings. And one of the things that I really like is the camera family, which is a set or presets for different photography modes. So you have star trail, you have starry night effect, obviously because of the phone. You also have a moon phase. Whatever you select over here, it will automatically select the settings for the camera to take photos of that specific object. Time lapse, full size, macro, document, ID photo, panorama, and then there's a lot of other settings that you have over here. And so for example, if you go ahead and click on the moon, it immediately then has that specific setting pre-applied to it, so you don't have to actually find your way or fiddle a lot with the settings. Apart from that, you get street photography options. You have the option of toggling between different cameras. So you can you have the option of 18 millimeters, 35 millimeters, 50 millimeters, and 85, which then switches the cameras as well. Then you have pro photography, you have regular photography, you have video mode, Milky Way night, and then you also have the portrait photography. And if you talk about the front camera, as I already mentioned, you guys can tell over here that it's not really that good of a result. So just the preview is not that clear, but if I take a picture and then I go ahead and showcase it, the actual picture is a little bit slightly better, and that's because of the 16 megapixel under display camera that this has. When it comes to the video, this will take video in 8K resolution at 30 FPS. At 4K, it will take 3060 and 120 FPS. And then you obviously have the 1080p resolution at all FPS modes. This is already a pretty good performance phone. This is already a pretty good camera phone. But even the battery is above average, which comes at 6,000 milliamperes, which is not something that you see on a lot of phones. The last time I saw 6,000 milliamperes was on actually the same ZTE, the RedMagic Pro, which was the gaming phone. And on an endurance test or an active use score, this gave us around 16 hours, which is way more than you usually get. I think right now at this moment, the current champion when it comes to batteries, I think is the iPhone 15, the regular iPhone 15 Plus, which gives you around, I believe, 10 to 11 hours at a maximum. This one even gave us 3 to 4 hours above that, depending on how you use it. But actively using this, it will give you non-stop 16 hours of battery time, which is pretty good. The most exciting part about this phone is probably the price, because all of that will cost you just around $599, which is honestly a slap to the face of Samsung when they're launching a phone with similar specs at $1,300. I believe that's just around the 3,000 dirham mark, depending on what variant you go with, but that's the price that you can expect this. So yeah, guys, this is the special edition Starry Night Edition for these Nubia Z60 Ultra. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.